Welcome to the Soul Session with Samira Seraphini. You landed here for a reason. You're ready to heal your heart, embody authentic confidence, and soften into your feminine energy. It's time to live in true alignment and manifest a blissful life. Let's begin. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Soul Session. I'm Samira Seraphini, intuitive therapist and creator of the Soul Method, Heal, Align, Manifest. If you're new here, I'm so happy you found your way. This is your session. And if you've been here for a while, thank you for coming back. I made this episode because I see this pattern constantly and I want to talk about it honestly. This is why you feel stuck and why more healing won't fix it. And I want to open with something that took me years to understand. And something my teacher said to me that I still carry with me today. You're not stuck because you haven't healed enough. You're stuck because you're waiting to finish something that never finishes. Stay with that for a moment. I remember the first family constellation workshop I ever attended. I was very young, just starting out, and I was sitting with my teacher learning to become a constellation therapist. And at some point, I raised my hand and asked her a question that I know now many people carry but rarely say out loud. I asked, when it is enough? When have I done enough inner work, family constellations, healing to be done? To say, okay, I'm here now, I can live. She smiled to me, and then what she said, I'm glad you asked that because many people wonder the same thing without ever saying it. And the truth is, there is no moment when you complete your healing. Not because something is wrong with you, but because healing is not a destination. It's what happens on the way. Your lineage will always have older layers, deeper layers, things that haven't yet been resolved, and they will continue to surface, not to punish you, but to push you towards new levels, toward a fuller version of yourself, and a life that is genuinely yours. And at the same time, you don't stop living while you heal. You continue to heal and feel and love and to get hurt eventually and to grow. So trying to complete the healing before you begin to leave, that's the trap. That's exactly the loop I want to talk about today. Let me ask you something. Do you feel like you've been working on yourself for a long time, and yet there is still this sense of being stuck? Like nothing is actually moving? Do you find yourself thinking, once I resolve this one thing, once I heal this very wound, once I fully understand this pattern, then I will be ready to start a relationship, to start my new chapter, to start that business idea. Or maybe you consume a lot of inner work content, podcasts, books, courses, and you feel more aware than ever of your patterns, and yet somehow you're still repeating them. Or maybe you had done the opposite experience. You tried the positive mindset approach, the affirmations, showing gratitude, that everything is fine, and you felt it working for a moment, and then something happened, and the feeling of being stuck came back even stronger. And with it came something extra, the shame of having tried and failed to stay positive. If any of this is yours, you're not falling at inner work. You may just be inside the healing loop. And today, we're gonna name it, understand it, and most importantly, find a way out of it. I want to be clear about what this episode is and what it isn't. So, this is not a promise to fix your life in 3 steps. I don't believe in that. I think those promises, however well intentioned, create more harm than good. They add an impossible weight to an already heavy moment. What I believe in is process, sustainable, committed, and honest process that respects where you actually are, not where you think you should be. And that is what the soul method is built on. Working on the past, the present, and the future simultaneously, not sequentially, not waiting until one is resolved to begin the next. All 3 at the same time in motion. So here's our session today. First, we name the 2 things most people try when they feel stuck and why they keep exactly where you are. Then the 3 steps that actually work to get you unstuck. Not a formula, a direction. And we will close with a practice to help you connect with your intuition and get into movement. So let's begin. Before the 3 steps, I want to name what doesn't work. Not to criticize anyone who has tried these things. I tried them myself, but to be honest about why the loop continues. The first thing people usually try when they feel stuck is to try to be positive about it. So they may say, it's fine, things are going well, or it will be okay, or trying to show gratefulness for what you have. So what usually people do is to repeat affirmations or focus on how far they've come already. So basically, they perform okayness until they believe in it. But the body always knows the difference. You cannot force a feeling into existence by naming it. You cannot bypass what's real by layering something more pleasant on top of it. The mask holds for a while, and then something cracks. A hard day, a triggering conversation, a moment of quiet when there's no content to fill the silence. And when the mask falls, the stuck feeling comes back. And it comes back with a companion, the shame of having tried and failed. Because forcing positivity doesn't lift you out of the loop. It just makes you feel worse when you fall back in it. And the second thing people try to do, and this one is more seductive and more subtle as well, is perfectionist healing. So they decide, I will resolve this first. I will understand fully this wound or this pattern. Let me complete this process. And then, only after all of that, I will be ready to start a business, to explore myself, to create, to start a business, to begin fresh. And then there is the content that feed this, the 5 steps to fix your anxiety forever. Watch this video to change your life. And as well intentioned as those things are, what they actually create is an impossible pressure. Because you're not just in a hard moment, you're in a hard moment while simultaneously trying to resolve everything permanently. And when you cannot, because no one can, the conclusion you draw is not, well, that was an unrealistic promise on that video or on that book. Usually the conclusion is must be something wrong with me. But you're not failing at healing. You are carrying too much weight for one moment to hold. And here's what I want to say about that before we move forward, because it truly matters. Not every moment of your life requires transformation. Some moments only ask for sustenance, to get through the day, to take care of yourself enough to wake up tomorrow, and that's enough. That is sometimes the entire work. And the after I heal this, after I resolve that, is infinite. The after never comes because life keeps moving. New layers keep surfacing. New situations keep asking for integration. So that loop doesn't end by going deeper into it. It ends by stepping out of it into movement, into life itself. Think about learning to drive. When you first start, it's complicated. You have to think about everything at once: the wheel, the mirrors, the speed, the cars around you. You cannot look everywhere simultaneously and it feels overwhelming. But once you practice, once it becomes natural, something integrates. You look forward to see where you're going, and you also check the mirror to see what's behind you. You glance to the sides to see what's approaching. All three directions at the same time, in motion. And the most important thing about that metaphor is that the car only works while it's moving. You cannot navigate it from a standstill. You cannot find your way by staring only at the back mirror. And life is the same. You look back enough to understand. You look sides enough to stay present, but you keep moving forward. That balance, past, present, future, all three simultaneously, is the foundation of the soul method. And it is the opposite of what the healing loop asks you to do, which is to stay looking at the back mirror indefinitely, waiting for everything behind you to be resolved before you put the car in gear. So, the first step to getting unstuck is acceptance. And I want to be very precise about what I mean, because acceptance is one of the most misunderstood words in the inner workspace. Acceptance is not agreement. It is not surrender in the sense of giving up. It is not saying this is fine when it isn't. Acceptance is simply stopping the fight with reality. And stuckness at its root is always resistance, the accumulation of no's. No, my past should not have been that way. No, I shouldn't feel what I'm feeling. No, I shouldn't be where I am now. No, this isn't fair. No, this isn't right. And every one of those no's, however justified and understandable, creates contraction in the body, in the nervous system, and in the field. Because resistance is psychological, it costs energy, and it keeps you anchored to exactly what you are resisting. While you resist, you remain attached to what you are resisting. And the yes, it is the opposite movement of that. It is not easy. I want to say that clearly. It is not easy to say yes to something that hurts you. To say yes to a past that was difficult. Or to a present that isn't what you wanted. But the yes creates release. When you stop fighting the reality of what is, something in your nervous system exhales. A deep, quiet relaxation that is not resignation. That is the beginning of movement. Yes, that happened. Yes, I am here. Yes, I feel this. Yes, I'm not where I thought I would be at this point in my life. Those 4 words, yes, I feel this, do something in your body that no amount of analysis can do. They create a space, and a space is what movement needs. I want to share something. I work with clients who came to me completely exhausted. Not from their lives, from the effort of holding everything at a bay. The effort of not feeling what they were feeling. Of maintaining the appearance of being okay. And fighting the reality of where they were. And in those sessions, one of the first things we do is to simply stop analyzing or trying to understand or look for the lesson, and just say, this is what is happening. This is where I am. Yes. Yes to the reality. And every single time, something shifts in the room. Not because anything external changed it, but because the internal war stopped, even for a moment. The body knows the difference between resistance and acceptance. And when you tap into acceptance, when you stop asking it to pretend, it relaxes. And in that relaxation, something becomes available that wasn't before. The next step, the next breath, the small thing you can actually do. Acceptance is not the end. It is the only possible starting point. So before you try to fix anything, make any decision, or take any action, ask yourself, what am I still saying no to? What in my past, my present, my emotional state am I still in resistance to? And what would it feel like to simply say yes? This is here. I'm not fighting it anymore. The second step is decision. And before I explain what that means, I want to name something that almost never gets talked about in the healing space. And it can be uncomfortable to hear. But I do think it is essential. Suffering is easier than acting. And I say something similar to my son. I say to him, like, being sad is so easy. You just lay down and cry. But being happy takes a lot of work because you have to get up and do something. I want to be careful here because I'm not saying that suffering isn't real or saying that your pain, your emotional struggle isn't valid. What I'm saying is that sometimes the stuck place has a benefit, and that benefit is invisible, operating below the level of consciousness thought. We call it the secondary gain. When you are in a difficult situation, when you are clearly the one who was wronged, who suffered, who had it harder, there is a certain comfort in that position. It's familiar, it's predictable, other people understand you. You don't have to risk anything new. And moving forward means leaving that position. It means accepting that something happened and then taking responsibility for what you will do next. Even though what happened wasn't your fault, now it means taking a risk, taking action, and choosing again. And that is genuinely harder than staying, which is why so many people don't. So I want you to sit with a question for a moment and try to resist the urge to answer it too quickly or to defend yourself against it. Just let it land. What are you gaining by staying where you are? Not consciously, not intentionally, but somewhere beneath the frustration of feeling stuck. What does staying give you? Maybe it means you don't have to try and fall. Maybe it means the expectations stay lower. Maybe it means you keep a reason for the things that aren't working. Maybe it means someone continues to feel sorry for you or continues to feel responsible for you. Maybe it means you don't have to confront how much you actually want something. Because wanting it and not having it, it is more painful than not trying at all. And none of this is a moral failing. All of it is human. Because your nervous system is so smart. It found a way to stay safe and protect you inside of the difficulty. But the question is still worth asking. Is this worth more than the life you want for yourself? Because real decision, the moment you say, the secondary gain is not worth it, I'm choosing different. It creates a ripple effect in your process. Think about this. You get in a taxi, you give the driver the address, and the taxi leaves you in the wrong place. Not where you asked to go, somewhere you didn't want to be. And you feel what anyone would feel: frustration, maybe anger, the sense that this isn't fair, that this isn't what was supposed to happen in the first place. And all of this is completely valid, but none of it moves you. What moves you is the moment after you felt all of that, when you look around and ask, okay, I'm here. This is where I am now. What do I do to get out of here? So you see, acceptance is not the end. It's the moment you realize you can finally start moving. That's decision. Not forcing yourself to feel fine about where you are, but accepting it enough to stop spending energy on resistance and start redirecting that energy toward what comes next. You're not only stuck because of the past, you are stuck because what you are still choosing to hold on. And when you realize that, that's when you can start to choose differently. And something shifts in your nervous system. The energy that was going into resistance becomes available for something else. For your next step, your next decision, to get into movement. And that is the third step. The third step is movement. And this is the step that almost nobody in the healing space talks about, because the healing world tends to focus entirely on the past, on understanding it, processing it, resolving it. And that work has real value. I wouldn't have built my entire method around it if it didn't. But what I watched session after session along the years I've been working as a therapist is that the thing that most reliable pulls someone out of a stuck place is not deeper excavating of the past. It's the orientation towards something new. That's a simple principle at work here, and you've probably experienced it in smaller ways. What you focus on grows. When you give your creative energy, your attention, your nervous system, your thoughts, your emotional investment to the wound, the pattern, the block, you are feeding it. You are not consciously choosing to keep it alive. But focus is energy, and energy is sustained what it touches. So you see, you're not stuck in the past. You are investing your energy and your present moment into it. The movement toward something new, toward a future, a vision, even one small action that points in a different direction, does something different. It doesn't erase the past. It doesn't bypass the wound, but it gives your system something else to orient toward. And in that reorientation, the past begins to lose its grip. Not because you force it, but because you stop giving it all your energy. And let's be clear about what movement means here. Because I'm not asking you to perform action before you're ready. Movement doesn't mean a grand gesture. It doesn't mean launching the business or entering a new relationship or making a big decision. It is one small step that points in a different direction than the loop. One conversation you've been avoiding, one application you've been putting off, one piece of something you've been building that you actually sit down and build, even for 20 minutes. One honest question you ask yourself about what you actually want, not what you are afraid of, but what you want. That is movement. That step, however small, takes you out of the stagnant energy. And this stagnant energy is what makes the stuck feeling feel permanent. The moment you move, even slightly, the feeling changes. Not because the wound is healed, but because you're no longer defined entirely by it. And you know that clarity doesn't come before movement. It comes from the movement. So you don't need to wait until you feel ready. You move, and readiness builds up as you go. I've worked with women who spend years preparing to begin, doing all the inner work first, getting ready to be ready. And what I've seen constantly is that the integration they were looking for didn't come from more preparation. It came from action, from the thing that they were waiting to be healed enough to do. The woman who started the business while still carrying the fear of failure and found in the building of it that the fear wasn't there anymore because she was no longer feeding it with avoidance. The woman who entered the relationship while still having the mother wound discovered that the relationship itself became part of the healing. So you see, life doesn't wait for you to be healed to offer you what you want. And you don't need to be healed to begin moving toward it. Healing is not what comes before life. It's what happens while you live it. That is the reframe that changes everything. Not I'll heal and then I'll live, but I'll move and the healing will happen in the move. Stuckness is like looking backward, waiting for something to change. And movement is looking forward and simply going. I want to pause here for a moment because the 3 steps I just shared, acceptance, decision, and movement, they are a framework, a map. And maps are useful, but there's a difference between holding a map and being guided through the road that is specifically yours. Because the healing loop, the specific version of it that you are in, has a particular shape. It has a specific route in your story, in your body, in your nervous system. And finding that route and actually dissolving it is what we do in the soul session. One session just you and me. We will go into your field, the path you're still in resistance to, the secondary gain that keeps you in place, and the future you haven't yet give yourself permission to move toward it. That's what we do in the soul session. It's a systemic, somatic, and energetic work at your pace. If you felt a recognition, if something in what we explore today says, "This is where I am," check the application in my show notes. When you feel the yes, I'm here for you. Now let's integrate what we explored, not just in the mind, but in the body as well. We're going to do a short practice that I use in sessions. It's somatic, which means it works through sensation, not analysis, not the mind. And you don't need to understand everything that happens. Just let yourself be in it. Find a comfortable position. Seated is perfect. Feet flat on the floor if you can. And close your eyes. Take a slow breath in and let it go. Again. And release. Feel the weight of your body, the contact between you and the chair, the ground beneath your feet. You are here. You are present. You are safe. Now I want you to bring your attention to your body. Move slowly from the top of your head downward. And whenever you feel tension, holding, restriction, tightness, I want you to simply say yes to it. Not to fix it, just to acknowledge. Yes, I feel this. This yes can be quiet. Now bring your attention to your mind. Whatever thoughts are present, worries, questions, things you feel are unresolved, they're welcome to come. Don't need to push them away. And to each one, say yes. Yes, this is here. Yes, I see you. Yes. And now your heart. What emotions are present right now? However they feel, heavy, sad, confused, say yes. Yes, I feel this. Yes, this is what is real right now. Feel what happens in your body when you stop fighting what is. Now, from this place of acceptance, from this softening, ask your intuition one simple question. Not your mind, your intuition, your body's knowing. What is one small thing I can do today to begin moving? And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be the answer to everything. It just has to be yours. Whatever comes, hold it gently. Don't analyze it. Just receive it. Take a slow breath in and let it go. Gently open your eyes. Welcome back. Whatever came up during that practice, write it down. The small step your intuition showed you, that is your next move. Not a commitment to resolve everything overnight, just the next thing, one small step. If you want to explore this kind of somatic and body inner work, check my Becoming You activation workbook. It's free and it is in the link of the show notes. Now let's bring this home. 3 steps, 1 direction. So you see that stuckness is not what happened to you. It's your resistance to what happened. The accumulation of no in your body and in your nervous system. Acceptance is the key. Saying yes to what is real without needing it to fix it first. Because it creates the release. It creates space. And a space is where the movement begins. You are not accepting the wound. You are reconnecting with the reality. And then, staying stuck has a secondary gain every time. That gain is invisible, unconscious, and completely human. Your system found a way to be safe inside of the difficulty. Decision is the moment you see that gain clearly and choose something worth more than the comfort of the familiar. It is not a decision to feel differently, it is a decision to act differently from whenever you actually are. And then let's remind ourselves that you don't heal and then leave. you heal while you live. And the thing that most reliably moves you out of the healing loop, it's not more digging of the past. It's the one small, honest step towards something new. Remember that what you focused on grows. And when you begin to give your energy to a future, even when it is imperfect, the past begins to release its grip. So before the session, you've been working on yourself for a long time and you feel like nothing is moving. You are in the healing loop, deeper and deeper in the wound, waiting for a completion that never comes. And every new piece of content adds more awareness without adding more freedom to your journey. But after our session, you have a direction. You understand that the loop ends not through more healing, but through acceptance, decision, and one step forward. And you know that healing happens in the living, and you have a concrete practice to begin finding that step today. So, 3 things to take with you this week. 1, find one thing you've been in resistance, something in your past, your present, your emotional state, and practice saying yes to it. Every time the no comes back, say yes again. 2, ask yourself honestly, what am I gaining by staying where I am? Sit with the discomfort of that question, because the answer is your secondary gain. And knowing it is the beginning of choosing beyond it. And last but not least, 3, take the step your intuition showed you. Today, however small, write it down if you needed to and take it. That's enough. That's more than enough. If today you recognize the loop, if something in these 3 steps named a place where you've been waiting for something that isn't coming, there is a space for that work to go deeper. The soul session is the space where we go into your specific pattern, so we can break your healing loop and your inner resistance. Check the applications in the show notes and stay in this work between sessions. Download the Becoming You Activation Workbook, 5 days of practice, completely free, in the show notes. Subscribe to my beloved newsletter, where I share my own process and thinking weekly in the most intimate space I have. And share this episode with someone you know who is in the loop. They may not have the words for it yet, but they will recognize it when they hear it. And if this podcast is part of your path, a review means everything. It helps more women to find their way here. All links are in the description. And before I go, I want to say one more thing. If you've been working on yourself for a long time and still feels like something is stuck, it may simply mean that the work has been pointing in one direction and what you need is to look in another. So remember, you don't need to feel ready. You don't need to be fully healed. You just need to move. One step, one little step. Remember, a woman who changes her life is healing her whole lineage. Thank you so very much for being here with me today. I see you in the next session. Sending you so much love. Until next time. If you made it to the end of this episode, it means you're truly committed to healing your heart and living in true alignment. I see you, and I'm so proud of you. Make sure to subscribe to the Soul Session so you never miss our weekly time together. And if you enjoy what you heard, please leave a review and share your biggest takeaway. I'd love to hear from you. For exclusive content straight to your inbox, subscribe to my weekly newsletter. And if you're ready to quantum leap into your next level, book a one-on-one session with me. You'll find all links in the description. Thank you for being here. Sending you so much love. Until next time.